coming up, but we'll leave it off the agenda, obviously. It'll be here. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. The consent agenda passes. First item is item number 4. A resolution pursuant to section 11-47-19 Code of Alabama, and Amendment 772 of the Alabama Constitution of 1901, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with the Birmingham Host Committee 2025 World Police and Fire Games, the corporation, under which the corporation will provide organization, promotion, management, hosting, planning, record keeping, facilitation, and other services related to the 2025 World Police and Fire Games to be held in Birmingham, Alabama between June 27th and July 6th, 2025. And the city will provide funding in the amount of $2 million to be used by corporation to facilitate the 2025 WPFG. The compensation shall be paid subject to appropriations in 4 equal annual installments as follows. Number 1, $500,000 to be paid on or after July 1st, 2022. Number 2, $500,000 to be paid on July 1st, 2023. Number 3, $500,000 to be paid on July 1st, 2024. And number 4, $500,000 to be paid on July 1st, 2025. In accordance with the requirements stated in the amendment number 772, the city has caused to be published a notice in the Birmingham Times on July 22nd, 2022, concerning the proposed action of the Birmingham City Council to consider the agreement with corporation with respect to the 2025 WPFG at the council meeting on August 2nd, 2022.
Move the item.
Second. Mr. Mayor, were you up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm semi-up. Okay. Madam Chairwoman, good afternoon to everybody. I'm semi-up. I'm not fully up. The reason I'm not fully up because it's the entire, or at least the leadership part of the organizing team for the 2025 Police and Fire Games are actually in Rotterdam right now. I believe it is 10:35 p.m. their time. Oh, wow. But we have one of those team members, Chaz Mitchell, on the call who is willing and ready to give this body some information in form of presentation and open it up for any questions you may have related to this item before you.
Okay, well,
Mr. Mitchell, can you hear us?
Yes, I heard. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Thumbs up. All right. Well, good night here and good afternoon there. So, just to give the committee a little background on what's going on. The World Police and Fire Games is basically a large-scale, multi-purpose event for active and retired firefighters, police officers from around the world. The games attract over 8,500 athletes from over 70 countries to participate in 60-plus sporting events over a 10-day period, similar to the World Games. I think it's estimated that usually, as I noted, most of these members of the law enforcement sector bring their families to each country, basically to just showcase them and just give them an avenue to pretty much participate in Olympic-style sports and entertainment. So what's before the council, I think this bid was done in 2018, and we were one of 3 cities that put in a bid package along with the CDB to try and get this World of Fire Police Games to the city of Birmingham. We won the bid in 2020, so what's before you is actually similar to the World Games. The local organizing committee will be the caveat that pretty much manages and runs the show of the World Police and Fire Games. The last time this event was in the United States was in 2015 in Fairfax, Virginia. And we also learned today that the country or the cities that are actually trying to bid for the 2027 games is Perth and Northern Ireland. So you can tell that this stretches all across many countries and many continents, and the economic impact is very, very good and rich. We also learned that when it was in Fairfax, Virginia in 2015, they had an economic impact of close to $90 million. So if we can just, the economies of scale, just think about if we have it in 2025, if we lowball it, we can almost see an economic impact greater than $100 million just bringing fire and policemen from across this country and across the world into our city. So those are just some high level things. Like I said, this event brings a lot of athletes It's a free event for anybody. It's not a ticket event. I think a lot of people are trying to compare it to the World Games. I mean, it's similar in nature, but it's just basically it's just different. So if the council or the committee has any questions, I'll try and do my best to field them.
Okay, thank you, Chief Mitchell. Madam President, do you have any questions?
Well, I just wanted to thank Chief and the Mayor for providing. They did give us some supplemental information in addition to Chief Mitchell's summary. I did just want to find, and I apologize if I was not paying attention well, when we talk about these events, will they be in multiple places or will it be all over, similar to how the World Games were presented?
Yes, Madam President. Basically, it's very similar to the World Games. They have a federation that has come and did a walkthrough of all our facilities and venues, and most of the events that they feel that they're comfortable with will be majority in Birmingham. Of course, we'll have some type of regional cooperation with other cities in case they have certain type of sporting events that require a lake, or like we did with out at Oak Mountain State Park or something like that. But majority of the venues will be within our city limits.
Okay, and I have two more questions. The other one, I know we had to entertain the interlocal agreements with other municipalities for the security. Since this is former or current police and firemen, what about our security issue here? Would this be similar to any other entertainment or sports event?
So this one will be a little bit different than the World Games, even though we'll have a lot of dignitaries from other countries and within our city. Like you said, this is just mostly first responders. So, of course, we'll file our application to have the SEER rating, the special events rating through Homeland Security. I don't want to say that it will be the same rating as the World Games. I pretty much think it won't. So I don't think we'll have that particular measure of security that we have for the World Games and for the World Police and Fire Games. It'll probably be if I had to say, it'll probably be a rating of 3. So it'll pretty much be business as usual.
Okay, and final question. I am interested in the economic impact that we are sort of suggesting, or that we're saying that we may get out of this. As we've come through the World Games, I know we're waiting now on those financials and just to see what would this economic impact we think it's going to be with. Will we have the number of visitors with this? Are we thinking most of our economy will be enriched by the participants in the games?
Chad,
Yeah, this one, I'm sorry, go ahead, man, I'm sorry.
go first, sir.
No, it was just basically, this is more athletes driven, along with their family members.
Okay.
Just in speaking with the athletes that are here in Rotterdam, we've noticed a very large uptick in excitement just because it's in the United States. Of course, they have the Winnipeg games, which are next year, but it's a lot of people that are saying that there may be a low attendance year because it's just the nature of the back-to-back, and that these games are every 2 years. And just due to COVID, that's the reason why, the timeline is a little different now. But the excitement is just for, especially for participants, just the locality of just it being in the United States and in the South is bringing, we really feel strongly to at least have, at a minimum, 8,000 athletes and their family that come to the city.
Okay. And just finally, I do want you to say again, this is a free event. Are there tickets that have to be purchased?
This is 100% free for every venue, for opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies. It's free and open to the public.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I wanted to ask, I realize that we're committed to this $2 million and we're entering into an agreement with the Birmingham Host Committee, and I was wondering if we have a list of the people who are on that host committee to know who's running the show here. And then I wanted to ask also about the additional commitment of financial support by the city of Birmingham beyond this $2 million.
Councilor Eric, my bad, Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Mitchell. I just want you to know if you can't see.
Attorney Roberts coming up.
Yes, Councilor, you should have the transparency form, and on the response to question 6, it lists all the members of the host committee.
Okay. Well, I must have missed that.
He took my answer. Thanks, Attorney Roberts.
Okay. Well, that's good that we've got it. I was most fascinated by that booklet that told about all the sports, and what was actually coming to Birmingham. I think my attention got distracted. So beyond that,
Councilor Abbott, just to give you more insight, once this item appears before the council, the organizing committee will be before the council to ask any questions to them. DJ McAfee is the actual president and CEO of the World Police and Fire Games Local and Organizing Committee, so I'm pretty sure he'll bring everybody before and probably a couple of board members before the council when it finally gets to that point of approval.
He's in Rotterdam right now, too.
yeah, and he worked on the World Games for a brief period of time, as I recall. And before that was on the Olympic Committee, as I recall.
Correct.
But anyway, I wanted to know about additional funds that we will be asked to provide beyond the $2 million.
At this point, Councilor, because it's in 2025, it will be mostly just support from our law enforcement area of in-kind service that we're probably budget for in that particular budget. So it wouldn't be any more financial ask because this budget is much lower than the World Games budget because it pretty much runs itself.
Well, that's good to know. And the other thing is the locations that will be experiencing this due to the lesser amount of security. Will we need to close as many streets as we did with the World Games?
Highly doubtful.
Depending on that, yeah, it'll be highly doubtful. It's based off our SEER rating, but I will say it's highly doubtful also.
The street closure is based on when you get the SEER rating, it gives recommendations from our federal partners based on how wide of a span that grid needs to be from a public safety standpoint of ingress and egress as it relates to vehicular traffic, etc. He's already suggested, based on the type of games they are, we may not get a SEER 1 rating. So if it's anything less than a SEER 1 rating, we can tell you the answer will be absolutely no. It will not be 8 blocks across the city from 17th to 25th or any area of span where some of these venues would be.
Okay, thank you. I think those are all my questions for the moment.
Okay, Councilor Tate, you have any questions?
I'm good. Thanks, Mr. Mitchell, for clarifying that this event will be free and to the public so that everybody in the city and in these communities can enjoy these fire and police games.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Tate.
And Council, I wanted to also add just the reason why it's free is most of their revenue, of course, is a P3. It's the public-private partnership, with the private part being them going out and raising funds, but also the athletes have to pay an entry fee for participation in the World Police and Fire Games. So majority of their revenue comes from outside of just the city support and just making sure that the games go off without a hitch.
Okay, perfect. What's the funding source again for this?
This is part of the $3 lodging tax.
Okay.
And it's already budgeted in this FY23 budget.
Okay, perfect. So in other countries, do the athletes do any type of camps or anything or community events?
From what we noticed, even from here and when we were in Shindu, they did have a very local presence to the community. So I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that they would have some type of activation for the local community to be involved and participate in, just some type of, showing them the different events and how those work. I mean, I wouldn't say they're, something that we're not used to, but they do have, activations in different venues where the public is involved and can basically put their hands on the event.
Yeah, okay. I kind of just would like moving forward, even though it's in 2025, that the council has the opportunity to meet the organizing committee, really the local and international members. I think it's very important that they realize what the 10 of us look like, and just having those type of conversations, just to make sure we have those networking events as well. But I'm very excited about this opportunity. I think this is very big for our cities to have two big events like this back to back within 3 years. So, do you guys have any other questions?
And maybe the mayor can speak on this because he has actually had conversations with the president of the World Police and Fire Games, who is his name is Larry Collins. He's a black retired firefighter from I think it's Podesta County, Florida, or not Florida, California. But I know that he has had conversations with the mayor and is very aware of the outlook of the council and the makeup of the council.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Mayor? Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. 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 The item passes. Next item. Item number 11, a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a project agreement with the Women's Foundation of Alabama for a period not to exceed 1 year, under which the city of Birmingham will pay the Women's Foundation of Alabama $37,500 for the administration of a home-based child care accelerator program to provide training, technical assistance, and financial resources for up to 5 child care operations to start and maintain sustainable child care programs to improve access and availability to high-quality child care in the city of Birmingham.
Second.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon, Council. Ooh, there we go. So here before you today, I'm Corey Hauser, Deputy Director for Innovation and Economic Opportunity. With me, I have Sarah McMillan, who is our Manager of Workforce and Talent Development in our department. So what you have before you today is a partnership with the Women's Fund of Alabama, or Women's Foundation of Alabama, to seek support for startup costs for home-based child care accelerators. Currently in Birmingham, we don't have enough licensed seats to serve working families, so unmet child care needs are one of the barriers to job growth and employment. So home-based child care, by definition, is a small-scale child care business operating inside someone's home. These providers increase access to child care options for families and infants, toddlers who go beyond the traditional, hours of child care. So, being able to do these startups and sort of see what happens, without child care, it limits their participation in the workforce, particularly among women. And so we're trying to really figure out how do we get women back into the workforce and then give them the support that they need. And so this pilot program would offer a child care solution for them. The funding will support 5 home-based child care startups, providing roughly 15 to 30 child care seats and impacting about 12 to 15 families. Target population is women of color who are interested in entrepreneurship and existing women of color-owned child care providers. The pilot would include budget, financing for those who are involved, business plan development, and they will also have the DHR state-required licensing to be a child care provider. So sort of in summary, what we're trying to do here with this pilot program is narrow the gap for child care space in Birmingham and support the creation of Black-owned businesses here in Birmingham. So that's a very short definition there, but Sarah's here also to help us with any questions on the details of the program.
Okay, perfect. Councilors, do you have any questions? Madam President?
I do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to the mayor and IEO. I always want to say IOE. IEO for going out and, what is it? We good? Okay. So here's my questions. I was happy to hear you say this will be DHR licensed, correct? Mm-hmm. So I was concerned about any regulatory aspects of this and what would be the city's obligation or responsibility towards these agencies.
Right. So what will happen is the Women's Foundation will plan the programming part of it. It'll take about 9 months to 12 months to get everybody in, certified, and then once they pass those necessary certifications, that's when they open. So they're just providing the program around business development, the financial modeling, but everything that needs to be in place to run as a licensed daycare will happen through those channels, DHR, health department, things of that nature. And so the Women's Fund will be there as a convener to make sure that they're checking off on those.
Okay. And you said the Women's Fund, then they are actually the administrator of the program. Will the 5 child care operators, will they come in through an RFP process, or is there criteria established for these different operators that they must meet in order to be considered? And it just was as a lottery, or kind of how would they be selected?
So I think they're going to open up some form of intake process, and that will go through the intent of the entrepreneur to make sure that they're in line with what the program offers. We're offering part of the startup cost, but they also have leverage funding, and they'll also partner with the CDFI, who will potentially provide loans so that the longevity of the daycare can last. And so there'll be several intake processes to make sure that they have the right folk who can sustain and scale, hopefully, over time.
And our goal then is to try to help, you said 10 to 15 families, correct? Are we looking at any certain areas across the city? I'm just concerned, I'd like for this to be useful and administered in the areas that are most of need, or be sure also that that operator has the capacity to meet the needs. So anything at this point that you could share about that?
I don't think there's any target area of the city. I know that they are targeting women, particularly Black-owned, or Black entrepreneurs who would like to go into that. And so I think naturally that will come with sort of areas from there. I will say that these 5 is just a pilot program. We are more than happy to fund more. I will say ARP funding is absolutely an eligible use for this. And so if there's something that, you want to do district specific, it's a straight line eligible use for that. And so you'll see here that only about $60,000 gets you 5. So imagine, what that looks like for others. But, naturally, I think through the selection of looking for Black-owned women accelerators and sort of, Black families, I think it'll sort of weigh itself out and where it needs to be in the community.
Well, of course, this type of accelerator program is very important to us, as we want to improve that or increase that footprint of minority and women entrepreneurs going into business. Last question, what's the funding source? You said the funding, is it ARPA or?
So for this pilot program, it is our department funding. So it's not ARPA funding, so it's our department funding that will fund the first pilot program for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Did you say it's 60,000?
Well, we're only doing half of that, so we're doing 37.5, and then there's another partner that's coming in with the additional pilot program startup, and then they also have a CDFI that will look at the 5 participants for longevity of loans for their business if they need them.
Who is the other partner that's giving the other half?
The women. So the Women's Foundation is actually giving the other half. I thought they had another partner, but they are actually giving the other half.
Oh, thank you then. Councilor Abbott?
Yes, I wanted to ask again, now you said this would be home-based, so the operator would live in the home under normal conditions, and then in the daytime, presumably daytime, all of these children would come in. How many children can you have in a daycare that's in a single-family residential neighborhood? Because I didn't think it was 15.
So it'll be 15 to 30 for the entire cohort. So I would imagine there's 2 to 5 that can be in a home, but so it also depends on the age of the child. And so all of these will be DHR regulated. So we don't necessarily get to set it, or the Women's Foundation. So once they go through their DHR regulations and licensing, they'll get the amount of children they can have in the home. But on average, for 5 home-based child care between infant and toddler, they will then decide. But on average, that should be about 15 to 30 children throughout the 5 of them.
Okay, and if a person lives in an apartment, is it based on the square footage of the apartment that they live in, how large of a daycare they could have in an apartment?
Well, and DHR will come in and do home visits, so it really will depend on the scenario in that home. And I'm sure that they will also make sure their rental insurance, make sure it's a safe environment. They're going to do background checks on everyone who's living there. And so part of the benefit of this program is home-based child cares exist, so this will help us to legitimize the operation, which makes it a safer environment for the children who are then coming to the home. But that's why there will be 2 partners. One is DHR, and then the other is the Alabama Quality Stars, who will then help with the further licensing requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Tate?
I just had one quick question. I think you clarified it, what the oversight, like how often is the oversight to make sure that, the rules and regulations are being followed. So that's the question that I would have, how often is the oversight, the site visits? Because, we got a lot of issues with child care and with kids and safety.
And I'll sort of add to this. Part of the sort of prize to this program is that it can offer non-traditional hours. So for those entering into the workforce, if you have to be at work at 6, there could be a provider that opens and lets you actually be there at 6. Or there may be somebody who's working till 8 or 9, and that child care can stay until 8 and 9. So that's the real star of this. And so they've done sort of the data and analysis on, like, there are people who want to get back to work or want to kind of do more as far as like job growth, but they don't have childcare. And so this is sort of modeling and trying to understand, is it the right fit here in Birmingham? And we think it is. There's benefit to it and data that supports it. But it'll take about, like I said, 9 to 12 months to walk through all of those certifications, the site visits, making sure it's the right environment and things of that nature. And so after those, let's say 12 months, that's when they'll actually open up. So it's not a quick process of 3 months in and then we open a childcare. They have to go through the normal procedures with DHR, health department, all of that. So we should see the benefit on the street in about 9 to 12 months.
Okay. I think I would like that for my district. I definitely know everybody doesn't have the luxury of being able to bring their kids to work as well. And I definitely think with COVID, we saw a lot of times kids were left on their own. And so I think this is really, really, really good, honestly. Trying to equal the playing field for all the kids, because usually educational disparities are started at the preschool level. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item number 12, an ordinance to amend the capital budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023 by appropriating $1,293,532.28 to 3rd Avenue West Streetscape, $675,000 to Carver Avenue Southwest, $168,503.89 to City Park, Mountaindale Road Park, $109,413 to Eastlake Park Fitness Court, $50,372.21 to Fire Facilities Improvement, $20,278.84 to Fire Facilities Improvement, $750,000 to Forest Park Avondale Business District Streetscape, $96,477.20 to Germania Park Improvements, $475,000 to Hanover Circle Repaving, $37,561.19 to Henry Crompton Recreation Center Improvements, yay. $598,615 to Hooper City Phase 5 Drainage Improvement, $150,000 to Museum of Art Elevator Repair, $815,000 to Pine Knoll Vista Drainage, okay, that's good. $400,000 to 19th Street Inslee Improvement, $150,000 to Cahaba Road Roundabout, $1,500,000 to 41st Street Streetscape and Drainage, $1,200,000 to Green Springs Highway Streetscape Phase 2, $500,000 to Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard Streetscape, $1,250,000 to City Walk, $500,000 to 2nd Avenue South Streetscape, $500,000 to Hawkins Golf Course repairs, $400,000 to Vulcan Park improvements, $375,000 to Rickwood Field improvements, and $500,000 to Interstate Greenway project.
Move the item.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, Chief Moore.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chairwoman. A couple notes. One is that there are team members here. And there's Kevin, Aaron, Diana, and Adrian from the Finance Department. They're here to, if this was broken up in halves, I guess the first half is how we got here, or just re-sharing how we got here, which was back in October 2020. Actually, it's been a while. There was some bond refinancing, and $13 million, I believe. We had to issue what we talked about, the IRS, et cetera, et cetera. So, Mr. Saxon, why don't you come on up, because I just did a horrible job of that.
You didn't do a bad job.
I'm gonna let him finish, and then I'm gonna come back on the project piece.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Aaron Saxton. I serve as Deputy Chief Financial Officer. And so, like the mayor was saying, back in October 2020, amid environment with record low interest rates, we started refinancing many of our bonds and warrants. In October of 2020, in the refinancing of the 2013 A and B bonds, we pulled out $13 million in proceeds that were from old bond issuances. There are certain covenants that you must adhere to when financing using bond funds, and you have to spend down those dollars at a certain rate, meeting certain benchmarks. The $13 million that was tied to these projects were then put on hold until we got our new money in, which came in January of 2021 with the 2021A warrants in the amount of $26,630,000. Yes, sir.
Y'all got the sheet from me? They speak, you can track what you're saying from this sheet.
I think that's the document that Chief Mitchell probably shared.
Got it by email today?
It should be in your, it's in your email.
Okay.
Yes.
No, sir. And so the $13 million that was tied to the old projects was applied up under the new money of $26 million, leaving a balance of $13 million that was available. And the projects that were just read off totaled to $13,098,000. And so that's how we got here.
So we'll do this jointly, and then we'll open it up. It's literally, we can go as deep as we need to. So of course that leaves us, what she just described, which took so long, because I believe, if my math is correct, there's 24 projects she called by name, and 18 of them have been talked about for some while. They run the spectrum across the city. Running across the city, they run various lanes, fire departments, parks, streetscape, sidewalks, historic venues like Vulcan and Rickwood Field, drainage, and I can go on and on. But I hope you all are excited as I am, or as least excited as the residents are about a lot of these projects coming to completion. So with that, we're gonna just open it up for you to, if you want, do you want me to go through each project? I can do that if you want, very quickly.
Honestly, yes.
Cool. No worries. Madam Chairwoman and Council, you have the 3rd Avenue West streetscape, which is lighting and resurfacing. So what, actually almost 1.3 million, so it's 1.29, but that's sidewalk and landscape improvement from 3rd Avenue West from Avenue S to Avenue W. That project provides beautification and pedestrian connectivity from the Central Park neighborhood to the Crossplex and BRT terminal. You have another project, Carver Avenue Southwest. That is to the tune of $675,000. And that is street improvements to improve vertical alignment for safety purposes, which also includes sidewalk and connectivity to Tarpley City Park. Then next, you have the city park, that's Mountaindale Road Park. That's $168,503, and that's park and rec equipment. You have East Lake Park, that's the fitness court, which is $109,413. That's park and rec staff have already completed this project. You got fire facilities improvements, 2 of them. One is $50,000 and some change. The other is $20,000 and some change, but that's capital repairs and renovations. Then you have the Forest Park Avondale Business District streetscape. This is $750,000. So this is that 41st Street connectivity that your colleague Darrell O'Quinn and a few others of you have asked us about what was taking so long. We kept saying money. This is $750,000. You have Germania Park improvements. That's $96,000 and some change. That provides a variety of upgrades to ball courts, parking spaces, landscaping, and ADA accessibility. You have Hanover Circle repaving. I think that speaks for itself. I'm looking at one of your committee members. That's $475,000. This project is already under construction and nearing completion. You have Henry Crumpin Recreation Center improvements. That's $37,000 and some change for the repair of flooring. So I think I was with y'all last week. We talked to, I was with CAB. And we spoke to about some other rec centers and the basketball courts, floors needed repair. You have the Hooper City Phase 5 drainage improvement. These are our good friends in Hooper City. This is $598,000, madam. This is roadway improvements to the 37th Court from 4th Place to 6th Street. The work includes widening of the road, new sidewalk, concrete gutters, and drainage improvements. It also provides connectivity to Harrison Park. The project also includes improvement on 6th, I believe that's 6th Street. You have the Museum of Art elevator repair. And so we just had the actual chairwoman of the, what do you call it? Endowment Arts. She's appointed by the president, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just short version is we took the stairs. How about that? So this repair includes, well, it's very simple and straightforward. Upgrading of the main passenger elevator for safety. You also have Pine Knoll Vista drainage installed culverts. So this is something that Councilor J.T. Moore and I have spoken. He's spoken to me many times about this since he's been in office, and this was one of his priorities, Pine Knoll Vista drainage. But this is ditch stabilization and culvert installation on Airport Road from, I think that's Paint Ave to Lawson Road to improve drainage and erosion issues. You have Togo Elementary School access improvement. So again, I think this is District 9. But this is $583,000 and some change. This is roadway widening of 4th Place North from 12th Ave to 14th Ave adjacent to Togo School. I can tell you from seeing it myself, this will definitely improve traffic flow, particularly between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. and when school gets out. You have Cahaba Road roundabout. This is a $150,000 project. Again, I told you Adrian is here, but this is a 10% grant match design and construction of a roundabout at the intersection of US 280 on Ramp, Lane Park Road, and Cahaba Road. But it's also a joint venture between the city of Mountain Brook and ALDOT, and as well as Birmingham. Then this continued work, you have again on here the 41st Street streetscape and drainage. So this is $1.5 million, but this streetscape project is to widen the sidewalks, also create bike lanes, and install additional drainage structure on 41st from 1st Avenue South to 5th Avenue South along those 4 blocks. I don't know. I guess I'll look at both of you. You go right, that's definitely 6, but at some point you go left, that's 3. I'm not sure with your new map what all Green Springs, where you two intersect. But you have the Green Springs Highway Streetscape Phase 2, which is $1.2 million. This is sidewalk and landscape improvement to the west side of Green Springs. So I think I just answered my question. From 10th Avenue to the city limits near Valley Avenue, and it includes signalized crosswalk at the bus stop, which would really important for safety, and also includes resurfacing of the southbound lanes of Green Springs Highway. You have RAJ Boulevard Streetscape. It's $500,000. This is a grant match lane and construction of multimodal path on Richard Arrington Boulevard, Junior Boulevard from 15th Avenue South to Valley Avenue. Then you have City Walk. I think we came to you, Mr. Fowler presented to y'all, I don't know how many months or years back, in regards to City Walk. I think we've all just enjoyed City Walk, but he did present that there would be a price, and we would come back before you. You see that price before you. This is a city match for the construction of City Walk of 10 blocks from 16th Street to 26th Street under the 5920 corridor. You have 2nd Avenue South Streetscape, which is $500,000. This is a grant match streetscape, and drainage improvements. From 2nd Avenue from 24th Street to 32nd Street, as well as 29th Street from 2nd Avenue South to 3rd Avenue South. And its construction is expected to begin later this year. You have Hawkins Golf Course repairs. So the dean of the golf course, we won't say his name, but he likes to share with us this is a city asset that we have not necessarily made the proper investments in, which include widening of those golf paths as well as AD compliance and accessibility on the actual site. So this is a replacement of the golf cart path and adding restroom for accessibility while on the course. You have Vulcan Park improvements. I believe the base, I want to actually get it right. I made a note earlier and I didn't want to forget. Go ahead, Chaz. The pedestal?
The pedestal, yes.
Yes.
The pedestal is deteriorating and we just need to repair it so we won't have to close Vulcan.
Yes, there you go. We want Vulcan to continue to be disrespectful to Homewood. I think y'all can get what I'm saying. You have Rickwood Field Improvement, so this is really important too. This is $375,000 to repair of the dugout areas or possibly work associated with structural repairs. And then you have the Interstate Greenway Project, $500,000. This is an approved agreement with Jefferson County to maintain the majority of the owned off-ramps with the City of Birmingham city limits. And Madam Chairwoman, I pass it back to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your willingness to always provide us extra information. Councilors, I'm personally happy to hear about this in all the districts. I think especially was it Hooper City during the town hall, that was one of the main neighborhoods that was crying out for help for the drainage system. So I'm really happy to see this. So councilors, do you have any questions? Councilor Abbott?
I do.
I know you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just something you have to get used to with me. I have a lot of questions. So the first question is the item 7, which is Forest Park, should be South Avondale Business District, the streetscape, and then the 41st Street streetscape and drainage. Is there a reason that those are separated into two different lines since it's one project?
Chaz, you have an answer for her?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe one is a grant match with ALDOT, and the other one is just a straight out project. But we can follow up with Ms. Denise Bell at Capital Projects to give you a complete answer.
Okay, and then okay.
Hello, Denise Bell, Service Director of Capital Projects Department. We do not have. Hi, Chief Mitchell. I'm looking like, where are you? But no, we don't. It's just like that. So we don't know reason why it was split up. So
maybe will it be combined into one line item so that it will make sense?
When we're engaged, yes, we will combine them.
Okay, so I went to a charrette for this about 10 years ago, and we had a design. We had actually several design proposals, Has anything ever been done with those proposals, or have we just been waiting?
I can't answer your question. Yeah, no, I was not part of that 10 years ago.
Well, no, you weren't. I mean, this was ancient history, but it shows how long it takes to get anything done around here. I mean, none of y'all were here except maybe our city engineer.
Just to be clear, you're asking about 41st Street and whether or not we have plans for it?
Well, yeah, do we have anything on paper or on our computers that shows the design that is proposed to be bid out eventually?
We do have the plans are complete for that project for 41st Street from 1st Avenue to 5th Avenue. We're currently working on utility relocations and right-of-way acquisitions. So the plans are complete for that project.
Well, that is excellent.
It has been set, it has been on hold for a little while we reinstate these funds.
Yeah. Do you think that it would be possible for this to be shown to the neighborhood association that has been crying out for this for so long?
We have had public hearings on it, so it has been shown to the neighborhood and the business people.
But it was a long time ago.
It was
and they're
probably 2
wanting
years
to know,
ago.
What happened to the project, and some people who are new to the neighborhood meetings haven't seen it yet. So I just want to know if that could be presented to the neighborhood since you have the plans completed.
We're open to that. I think we want to be careful about speaking to the past for something that we don't have full knowledge of, but what we are willing to commit to is funding projects that are a priority to the community and telling them here are the next steps, next phase, money's in place, boom, boom, boom. So what you asked, I think we can comply with that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is public information, and it is something that is relevant because it's their neighborhood, and they are the people that are going to be living with it and enjoying it. And so, I know that we have talked until we're blue in the face about it at neighborhood meetings. So it would just be good to have a presentation to the neighborhood of what is actually going to happen eventually. I know that they would love it. Then, another question is on the Green Springs Highway Streetscape Phase 2, which is a project that I requested, but no one has ever spoken to me about it or asked me what I had in mind or what worked with Phase 1 and what didn't, and whatever happened to the lighting that was never installed in Phase 1, which isn't mentioned in here, but it may just be an oversight. Are we ever going to actually put up the lights for which the bases and I think maybe wiring was installed, but no lighting?
So for clarification, your question is about lighting from Phase 1?
Yeah, and we don't need landscaping because it just all dies, so there's no point in wasting money on that. All the landscaping in Phase 1 died, and it was hauled off, I think, by Public Works. So it's just that I haven't seen any plans. I haven't been asked my opinion about any plans, and I would like to know if the things that were not done in Phase 1 because they ran out of money are going to be done in Phase 2 because that was what was promised back in the day. And so I think it certainly isn't for this meeting, but it's for the council member who requested the project to know what's going on. It's pretty minor, but it's important to the council member.
Yes, ma'am. I want to answer your question. So help me with the question again.
The question is, when can we see the plans and know what is actually being proposed and have input into what is being proposed based on the performance or the results of the Phase 1 project?
I'm Mike Eddington. I serve as city engineer, deputy director of capital projects. And Again, the plans on this one are about 90% complete, and we do include the lights that were left out of Phase 1 around the George Ward Park area, where we put in the bases and the wiring. That is included as part of Phase 2.
And also the lights that weren't installed on Green Springs Highway?
Yes, in the area of George Ward Park on Green Springs Highway, along that trail there.
So then the next question is, when can I see those plans and have some input into them?
If you'll make
because I walk the street, I walk the highway on that sidewalk we built, and I am intimately knowledgeable about what happened with Phase 1. So I would just like somebody to talk to me and be allowed to talk back to them.
We can arrange that.
Good.
The first part of your question about sharing it with you. I think we can talk offline on the input piece, because I don't know how much input even I give on projects that professionals are doing, but
when you requested, the council member, based on the request of the community, no one ever spoke to the community either. So whoever did the design has no knowledge of what people want. And to me, that's not right. Somebody should talk to somebody instead of just taking the ball and running off into the bushes with it.
Madam Dean of the council, I look forward to discussing, having an immediate follow-up with you. I think I may kind of not see that the same, but I'm going to reserve your time for your meeting. But I look forward to discussing that with you.
Well, I'm sorry to take up time at the public meeting for it, but, it is an issue in the past, the deep, dark past. Council members who requested projects were actually spoken with about them. But that was in the deep, dark past. All the players are gone except one or two. So it's an expectation that was developed from the past and wanting to continue that expectation. And I think, in my imagination, I think every council member who requests that a project be done has some knowledge of what is needed and what's not needed.
I think mayor, council, and community residents, all of us collectively, right? 3 different groups, mayor, council, we represent these group of people who live in this certain particular neighborhood or community. Say what they want and have an idea what that looks like. Council, mayor may have an idea what that looks like. We have some professional folk that get into the weeds of that. I agree with you on the part of the professional folks should come back and share that with community, council, mayor. I guess the part I'm trying to understand, which we can't do right here, but we will do, is you to download with me on this whole input. What does that really mean? You provide input and that's just input for input's sake, or council dictates what actually goes in the project, which I'm not familiar with in the 4.5 years I've been here, so.
Oh, no, I'm not saying anybody's dictating anything. I'm saying that as a professional planner, which was my past life, we always talk to our clients in the beginning to find out what they want. We don't wait until we're finished with the work and say, ta-da, here's what you're getting.
Right.
Because then if the people want changes, it costs money.
Right.
I think what would be good is maybe
Committee
a yearly
of the whole.
or twice a year, maybe getting meetings with individual counselors to see their vision, maybe. That probably could be very helpful. That way you have a guide.
Yes, ma'am.
It's helpful, yeah.
Ms. Abbott, I'm not discounting anything you're saying. I'm actually really trying to understand it.
Yeah, yep.
But I think
I'm a planner at heart. And I look at this and I think if you're spending money on professionals to do a design about which they know very little of what people are requesting, how do they do a design? Do they just pull it out of their imagination of what they think it ought to be like? Okay, so I'm done with that because I don't want to take up any more budget and finance, but front end discussion would save a lot of money on mistakes. Let's just put it that way.
That's fair.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
we'll work on that. Madam President, we'll work on set up those meetings, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Y'all are I'm excited about the project, and y'all are going to miss me when I'm gone because the meetings will be shorter.
Where are you going? You're not going anywhere for a while. Do you have any more questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Madam President, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do want to have a couple of questions. I want to start with the projects first. I do want to go back and ask Mr. Saxton, when we talk about the 2021, those A warrants that were $26,000, now we're down to $13,000. Is this just to satisfy what the IRS said we had to do or not do with that money, or how are we getting the math here? I apologize.
Yes, ma'am. The 2020 bond was the one where we took the old bond funds,
Okay.
old proceeds,
That's the 13.
and sent it back.
Okay.
Okay, so when we sent those funds back, the projects that were tied to that had to be placed on hold until we got the new money in the 2021 A warrants, which was 3 months later. And so that left a balance available of another $13 million.
Okay.
And that's where we are today.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you very
ma'am.
much. Now to the projects. I am excited to see the projects that are listed that are primarily coming to District 7. I do have a question regarding the Germania Park. I do want to thank Director Eddings Bennett. She's been very valuable in providing updates and providing information regarding the work that's already being done at Germania Park. So the first question, is this work a continuation of the 2018 project, or is this additional work that can be done?
It is a continuation.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
That was the
And-
funding that was left over that we talked about.
Okay, great. Because I know that there has been some conversation back and forth between Director Bennett and the neighborhood president, just to get that idea of what else to do with that money. So thank you. The second thing regarding Carver Avenue Southwest, and I saw Mr. Fowler here before, maybe Mr. Mayor, you or Mr. Alexander. Did you kick him out? That's okay. Just a question. I know there have been some submission regarding the condition of Carver Avenue. There was some sinking and that. Is that this project or is this another project? Because this sounds like it's on the other side of Carver Avenue near the Tarpley City Park. And it doesn't have to be specific. You can just get it back to me later, but just trying to get an idea of where this work is going to be. But again, both of these projects I know have been very, residents would be very happy to see this work.
He's able to
completed.
answer now.
Perfect.
I'm going to let Mike answer this
Okay.
one because he handled some of that.
Thank you.
As to the location of the Carver Avenue
Yes.
project, it is on the east side of Wilson Road, and it goes up to where Carver Avenue ends at the little park, Tarpley City.
Okay. All right, because I was thinking of West. So thank you. Appreciate that. And I think those are all of my questions regarding, we feel like we are in good standing now because we've taken care of the $13 million that the IRS had questioned about by putting these into these projects, correct? Yes. And so from this point forward, we feel that we have a better handle on how we submit projects and getting them completed to satisfy the money?
Yes, but Mr. Saxon, would you like to repeat that so the money man and money people can answer?
Yes,
Verify what I just
wanna
said?
say from this point forward, we've sustained our processes to be sure that when we put these projects forward, the IRS won't come back and then say, well, because we have current projects going on.
Yes, ma'am. That's something we definitely need to keep in mind. The document that Chief Mitchell shared with you talks about at the very top the benchmarks that need to be met in regard to spending of bond funds. 10% needs to be spent by the first year, the second year 30%, the third year 60%, and by the fifth year we really should have spent the bond funds.
Okay, I see that, thank you. Yes, we have it.
Madam President,
Yes, sir, Mr. Mitchell.
I just want to just note, because the actions of the council created the Department of Capital Projects is one of the reasons why we wanted that to be a separate entity so they can fully concentrate on capital projects and make sure they get to their completed state in a timely manner. So that was one of the reasons why we asked the council to create that department.
All right. Well, thank you. I know we're in good hands with now Department Director Bill, so thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me, ma'am.
Very deserving. Councilor Tate, you good?
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. I think we'll see you and Ms. Bell.
Yes. I don't think I have any questions. Okay. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. I do want to, Madam President, if we could put this information out to the other councilors so that they can know about this.
Definitely. And when will this appear on our agenda? Is it tomorrow or is it coming up?
Where?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay,
August
so we have time
2nd.
to get that to them.
Okay.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Okay. And then our last item is an addendum brought by Mr. McDaniels.
Get all this stuff untangled here. Madam Chair, members of the committee, you have before you the more substantive pieces, which is 40 pages for the appointment of Brent Boyd. My apologies for not having the cover sheet, but in the absence of the cover sheet, Brent Boyd will be an appointment to the office of Council District 6. The funding source and the amount, funding source, GL account 001 000 04260 542 001, and the amount is enclosed in the contract. If there are any questions.
We need a motion in a second.
Yep. Move the item.
Oh, second. I'm still looking.
Okay, councilors, do you have any questions? This is just a renewal of my consultant contract.
So this comes out of your consulting.
Yes, and professional.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. Thank you, guys. There's no old and new business. So the next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, August 8th, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.